right, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm just trying to get my system set up here. All right, looks like I am live. Okay, so let's turn that off. Okay, that's good. Now I'm not hearing myself talk. And we're gonna see if we can get our picture to include all of my mat. Sorry I didn't post this. I realized I did not set up an event this week, which normally I do, but for some reason I forgot to do it this week. All right. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's where we'll start. Okay. And we've got about 1 minute, so welcome to those of you who might be here. And I am going to do another Isabella layout today. This time, though, we are going to take it and we're actually going to use a stamp set. And the stamp set we're going to use is called At the Beach. At the Beach is this great stamp set that has this girl in a sarong, sayings like making waves and life is better at the beach and salty hair and sandy toes, and then these great other additional pieces like the leaf. We have this big palm leaf, and then all of these shells and sea waves, and then glasses and a drink, and also there you've got that fun beach bag. So I really wanted to use this with the Isabella paper, and the reason why is when I looked at the Isabella paper, and remember Isabella is this very bright summery kit. This is the sticker sheet, and then it has these patterned papers, and these patterned papers can go with a lot of different things. It's obviously a very summery feel, a very bright feel, could even be a very springtime feel. But this paper in particular really reminds me of sort of the ocean and the Mediterranean and sort of that Greek feel, along with a couple of other pieces of the paper in this kit. And I have a lot of beach pictures from Lorelei being in Hawaii, right? So she's in school in Hawaii, and we spend a lot of time at the beach when we're there. There is another stamp set that's in this catalog as well that's at the lake. So as you can see, they're very similar in that they have a girl, but they also have a slightly different feel to them. So this one has more lake things like an Adirondack chair and fishing and lake hair, don't care, and books and things like that. So a little bit different, but this would work for that as well. So this is the one I wanted to go with, and so you'll see that over here I've got a lot of pieces that I've already stamped out, and I've actually colored the girl, and I've used our tri-blend markers. So this does come with a die cut, and then obviously all the stamps. And I have a big pile up here of things that I've die cut, and when I do my die cutting, I tend to do a lot at one time, and I'll just stick them back in this this carrier case so that next time I pull this out to work with it, I can just pull from the die cuts that I've already made, so making it possibly a little bit faster. So I've done a lot of prep work. You'll notice that I have, I've done some paper tearing here. This is almond paper stock that I have used. This is retiring at the end of this month. This color retires, this almond retires. But I thought it worked really well for what I wanted to do, which was this beachy theme. This paper is part of the mix-ins that are for July and August, and so this is part of this mix-in paper pack, and this is one sheet, and it had this peachy pink color. I think, yeah, this is peach, and it has a sort of mottled look on it, and I thought, okay, that would be really nice, and so I cut a piece of that. That is 4 inches wide. The other piece that I cut was that zigzag blue paper from the Isabella collection. And so that's going to sort of represent my water, so to speak. And then I decided I was going to just do this as a one-page layout. And so I have a photo mat here. I actually texted Lorelei because I know that she has a photo that she took at the beach that was really, really pretty. And I wanted to get it, but I don't have it right now. But I am going to print it out in a 5x7 size. Then I have this is a die cut from the die cuts as part of Isabella. So this is a die cut, and I wanted to bring in a bit of yellow to kind of have a sun feel. So bringing the yellow to that, and then I have taken my Thin Cuts Fancy Stitch bracket, and I've thin cut out the bracket in White Daisy, and I have stamped Life is Better at the Beach. And as you notice, it has two colors on it. So the colors that I used are again the toffee. I used toffee on this because I wanted it a little bit darker than the almond paper. And I used canary. Canary is also a color that's retiring at the end of this month. So I'm using up some of the things that I have and trying to use them. And what I did is I inked up the bottom half of the stamp. So Life is Better at the Beach. I inked up the bottom half of the stamp in toffee, and then I went into the canary on the other half of the stamp, and I just made sure that it overlapped. And you'll notice that I actually did it a couple of times. In this one, you can see it didn't turn out right. I got like a fiber on that, and then I did it again. And I didn't quite get a clean impression on the toffee color. I didn't get enough ink on it, and so I did it again. This one was a little bit better, but centering, I couldn't get it centered on my page, so I ended up doing this one. So anyway, just wanted to kind of walk you through that. Some other things that I've done as pre-work, because I needed these things to dry, is I've done some splatters on this torn paper. So obviously I tore the paper. This is the dark side, or the true side of toffee, of almond, and then this bottom one is the light side. And then I've taken the toffee shimmer brush, so our shimmer brush, that's our toffee, and I have done some splatters against that, on that toffee. And then I also did that same thing on this bracket piece that's going to sit behind that. The last thing that I did, and this is over here in my box, so I have a saved box from close to my heart, and I use these as my spray boxes so that as you can tell, I have a very small space. And when I do my splatters or anything, it tends to go everywhere. You can kind of see on this Fun on the Sun, I actually got some splatters outside of the box. So by putting it in the box, I'm hoping to contain my splatters when I do my shimmer brush splatters. This, I wanted to use our Media Gloss sprays. The Ocean is the color that I used, and these, when you spray them, they do create quite a mess. So again, the box is a really good option for spraying so that it keeps it contained within the box and not all over your work surface. And so this is my spray box. You can see I've done some spraying in here in the past, and I took that Ocean color for the spray, and I have added that to my White Daisy cardstock. And what I was trying to do is give a little bit less starkness or whiteness on my layout. All right, so one last thing we have to do. I did these earlier because I needed them to dry, right? You can't do this and not let it dry, otherwise it's going to mess up the rest of your project. But I did want to show you a little bit of coloring techniques. So obviously I've done I've done our girl here, and I have used a few different colors as part of doing the girl. So the ice blue blend is the hat here that you see for her. The gold brown, the three colors are her hair. The fair skin is her skin color, and then the true blue blend is her skirt. Okay, so those were the four colors that I used as well. And again, I needed this to, sort of dry, and it takes a while to do this coloring, so I wanted to not spend our time doing that. But I did want to give you a couple of techniques and show you a couple of things with the smaller, pouch here, or what is it, purse that she might be carrying. And so I'm actually going to use the blue ice blend so that it matches her hat. So these were coordinating. And so these tri-blend markers have three colors, a light, a medium, and a dark. And generally what I tend to do is I tend to start with the light color, and then I come in with the medium or the dark. Depending on how big the space is, you're going to do short strokes or you're going to do dots. This is a little bit different than coloring in a coloring book. These are alcohol blend markers, meaning that they soak into the paper, and they are you can blend them. You can blend colors together. But you do have to be careful trying not to go outside of the line. So you're not making big strokes, you're making short little strokes to try and keep it controlled. I did stamp this in intense black because intense black once it dries, and I did stamp this earlier today to let it dry, it won't bleed the black. So again, a little bit of planning to make sure that you can stamp and then set them aside to really dry as well. Okay, so I've got that was my lightest color that I did there. And I'm going to come back in on this, and I'm going to do a little bit of the medium color. And I'm going to come back to my light color, and I'm going to blend it. So when I go over the alcohol marker, when I go over the color again, it starts blending these colors together. And you can play with these and kind of figure out what you like from a coloring perspective. That's one of the fun things about these is that you can play around and get highlights and lowlights and play with color. Oops, I'm not sure. Okay, looks like I might be back. I just saw. Okay, it looks like I'm back. Anyway, so you can play around with these a little bit, and again, you can layer colors together, like I'm doing. Lights and darks, and create highlights and lowlights. I am not very good at this. In all honesty, I do very basic coloring. I'm not very good at this blending. Now I think I'm going to leave it that the way that you see it here, where we've got alternating, because that matches her hat. But I am going to go in with the darkest color, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of dark here on the edges. And I'll go in again and I'll blend this a little bit in just a minute with the light again. I think I'm going to do a little bit more dark here. Oops, I keep getting interrupted video. Hopefully it's not truly getting interrupted too much. Hopefully it's just my internet that's the problem. Okay. All right, pretty happy with that. Okay, so I'm done with that one. I am going to take the darkest brown on this gold brown blend, and I'm going to do, actually, you know what, I think I'm going to do the medium to start with, and I'm going to do the handle. So this is a smaller space, so I'm going to be doing more dots than I am lines. Again, these are alcohol markers, and so they actually spread, and that's why we do the dots versus the, just the back and forth coloring. And then I'm going to come in and give it, with the dark, I'm going to go into the handle in the back here, and just give it a little bit more color, and then I'm going to do a little bit more blending here. And I'm not great, it's not great coloring. I think I'm going to go in on this bottom part, and I'm going to take the lightest color where this piece is. And if I really wanted to get fancy, I could go in and do those hearts, but I think I'm going to just leave it as it is. So it's not great. I did get outside of the lines a little bit, but hopefully you can see some of that shading there as well, and makes that a little bit more interesting. And then I'll hold up the girl. You can see in her skirt, I have some shading in her skirt as well. Now the rest of these, I just, I did some in black that I thought I might color, and then I did some in the toffee color and some in mink. So this lighter color is mink, this darker color is toffee. And I thought I might come in and color these, but when I started laying things out, I decided I liked them just like they were. I could have also die cut these out of those two colored cardstocks and stamped them in black, right? And then they would have been colored all the way through. So again, another option there. And I did a bunch of them because I didn't know exactly how many I wanted. So I just decided I'd stamp a bunch of them and then lay them out once I got everything together. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so now I got all my parts and pieces together. So we're gonna do now some putting of things down. So we're just going to move a couple of things kind of off to the side here. And I know that I wanted my blue wavy kind of feeling sort of on my layout right about there. I wanted this pink side over here. It sort of represents sunsets and represents, you know, walking on the beach and in the sunshine, and I just really kind of liked that feel. And then I was going to put my sand down here at the bottom, like this. And I just did some paper tearing that I showed you at least a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. So I just did some paper tearing on that. And I'm going to want this blue to come right down to the bottom here. Then I have my picture. My girl, I am probably going to put right here, and she will have, I might have to move her over a little bit. She'll have her purse there. And this yellow piece is the piece that I said I kind of wanted at the top to represent the sun. And then I have my life is a beach. And these were sort of all of my components. And when I'm looking at this right now, I realize I don't really have a spot for journaling. So I'm going to want to figure out where will a good journaling spot be here. So I may do it, I may switch, nope, I don't like that. So we may create a little bit more space over here. so I can put a journaling spot. Might do it like that. So I can put a journaling spot maybe up here in this corner like that. So again, when I laid this out, I didn't think about that. All right, so then I have all of these pieces, and I'm just dry setting these right now. This is, you know, sort of the dry run, and I want to create a cluster of these pieces using various different colors and trying to, you know, get something that's pleasing. So I'm looking for different sizes. I'm looking for different shapes here. I feel like I'm missing a couple of my stamped ones, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I didn't stamp enough of them. I guess I didn't stamp very many of those. Okay, so again, these are all going to be overlapping each other to a certain extent, and so the idea is I wanted to have a cluster here, and then I wanted to have another cluster down over here, and then maybe another cluster up here on this tag, right? And creating that triangle. See, now I've got a triangle to draw my eye. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so just so that you get that idea. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start laying these pieces down on the sheet. And you can see how that splatter kind of just created this extra texture on the background. It doesn't take away too much, but it kind of, again, brings that ocean feel up a little bit more, and creates movement instead of just having that dark or stark white space there. All right, so we are going to start laying our pieces down. So the first piece that we want to work with is, unfortunately, this blue one. So I think it's sort of in the right spot right now, but I'm going to shift this over so I can make sure that I know what the measurement is, where I'm starting. So it looks like I'm starting at just above 1 1 3/4. So hopefully everybody can see that over here on the right. And so that's what I want to do once I put my adhesive down, is I want to come in between the 1 3/4 and the 2 is what I'm trying to do. So we're going to start with this. All right. So again, try and get this straight on my Versamat so that I can have a relatively straight layout. And we're going to put this at about halfway between the 1 3/4 and the 2. Make sure we're coming all the way to the edge there. And then same thing over on this side. Okay. Then we're going to take our light shade of almond, and we're going to add adhesive to this as well. And we're gonna we're gonna not go quite all the way to the top of the tear, because we want to be able to slip in this other piece of almond. And I'm also not going to push down too hard. So coming down here to the bottom, I just want to make sure that I line this up with the bottom of that page. And then we're going to put our adhesive on our other piece of toffee. Again, this one, when I tore it so that the white would show on the dark side. And we're going to slide that just underneath. So again, we're trying to make it look like sand, but we're also trying to cover up the edge of that paper there. Oops, I know I forgot something. I meant to put in this piece. So I knew I forgot something. I'm glad I didn't push anything down. So actually I wanted to put this piece on, the pink piece, because I want the sand to go over the pink. So this, we need to make sure we lift this up. We'll take these guys off. Luckily I didn't push them down too hard, so that's good. We're going to line this up top to bottom. This piece is 4 inches wide. Just in case anybody wanted to know, this is 4 inches wide, and the blue piece was 3 inches wide. So, for some reason I'm not getting it to line up straight. So, okay, I think that's good. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our toffee pieces, and we're going to make sure we've got our light one on the bottom first. Okay, and then we've got the dark one coming in, just underneath it. All right, okay, so that looks good. Okay, and then I decided I didn't want this yellow piece to go all the way across. I just wanted it to go across at the top here. I'm not going to cut it first. I'm actually just going to lay it down, and then I'll trim it up here in just a minute. Just trying to make sure I get enough adhesive on here, and then I'm going to lay that at the top here. And then it doesn't look like I got quite enough adhesive, so we'll just put it on that side there. And we will turn this over and trim it up. I could have measured it and trimmed it on the trimmer, but I thought this was the easier way to do it. Okay, so now we've got that. So now the next piece is putting on our last pieces here. So we've obviously got our girl. We want her standing in the sand. And I don't think, I'm trying to decide. I do think I want to pop her up, but I don't think I necessarily want to pop her up on thick 3D foam tape. I think I'm going to pop her up on thin 3D foam tape. And so I've got my thin here, and we'll add that. Oh. Remember, when you're at the end, I find that the thin 3D foam tape, it's easy to take it off of the roller like this, and I'm able to use it. For some reason on the thick 3D foam tape, I'm not as successful. And again, I'm just making sure that I have adhesive along the whole piece of that brown backing, and then I will just lay that side down on my project, and then I have the other side that I'll peel off once I get her situated. Okay, so she is quite a big stamp, just so you know. I actually had to use a 4x4 block and put her on diagonally in order to stamp her. She's one of the bigger stamps that we have. Sorry, I have to go get some more foam tape. I'm out of the thin 3D foam tape. I'm just seeing if I have one that's already been started. So from a stamp set perspective, you know, if you look at her on the actual stamp, she is quite large, right? So it's going to require a bigger stamping surface to get her to work. So just wanted to point that out. So again, I used my 4x4 block for her, and that seemed to work. I put her diagonally, and that seemed to work pretty well. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I kind of get her covered so that she's not kind of lopsided when I put her down. So just cutting these pieces just a little bit smaller so I can make sure everything kind of pops on her. I got a hair there, don't want that. Okay. That one's going to show. Don't want any of my foam tape to show, so we'll trim that guy up. Okay. We can have that right there. Okay. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we will... Actually, you know what? I think what we'll do first is we're going to lay her down. Just make sure... Because once I get her down, remember with the foam tape, I don't get a lot of options. I'm going to put our picture on, and our picture we are going to use thick 3D foam tape for. So I think I'm going to start with that next. Again, I'm not putting adhesive all the way to the edges or top or bottom, but I am going to put a lot of adhesive sort of in the middle. And the reason is I might want to tuck something into the sides or underneath, and so I want to give myself the option to be able to do that. And so if I put adhesive all the way to the edges, then I get less of that ability. So again, I'm at the end of this one, and for some reason, oh, this one's actually going to work. For some reason, these white ones, the white centers don't peel off as easily as the brown centers do, but this one actually worked for me. So made me a liar. But like I said, typically I've had a problem with it not coming off for me when I try to do the thick 3D foam tape, so I'm happy this one proved me wrong. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we're going to take this. And right about there, I think, is where I want it to go. That looks good. All right, so then we have Life's a Beach, and I feel like I want to pop that up from its tag a little bit, so I think I'm going to do thin again. Yes. Since I stamped on the other side, it's like, okay, which side's the right side? So there we go. All right, I don't understand why my video keeps getting interrupted today. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we are going to offset this title from the tag, so obviously we're trying to give it some dimension and some weight. And so we are going to offset this to give us that feeling. And again, just that little bit of popping up just gives it, again, just a little bit more dimension. All right, so one of the other things I was thinking I might want to do is put a shelf underneath this, but I'm actually not going to do that. It was just an idea that came to me, and I thought I'd pull it out and just see if it would work. But it doesn't. I don't like it. So, okay, so I'm going to not put this title down yet. I'm going to, again, I remember I want to put a journaling block in, so I'm going to have to think about what's the best way to do that. And so I'm not going to put this title down right this moment. I'm going to play around now with our embellishments. So just taking these stamps, these thin cuts and these ones that I hand cut out, I'm going to start playing with laying these on my layout. So again, looking for a variety of color and size to create this cluster. Sorry, it takes, when I'm looking at these, I sometimes struggle with talking and actually thinking at the same time. So again, I'm trying to play with layers and trying to see what works and what might not work. And I do want to take some of these over here. And again, I might want to tuck some of these behind, right behind my, or in between my layers to give some dimension, or to give some feeling of sand and of movement and such. So let's see. I think I might end up stamping over here, but let's grab one of these guys maybe. Okay, and I might do some stamping right there. Okay, and then I've got again a cluster that I can put together over here that I can add into this corner. Right, I can do that, and create a different cluster type size wise. So again, play with that a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good with this as it stands. So I've got a lot of pieces down, just looking at time. Okay, 30 minutes, good. We're doing pretty good. So now I'm going to start adhering these clusters down. So I'm going to decide, do I need something popped up or not popped up at this point. So this one I'm going to start with, and I'm going to start with this one being down. Now I am only going to put adhesive on this one side because I am going to overlap it on the picture, and I need to be able to slide my picture underneath that. Okay, this one I think I want to pop up, and I am going to use 3D foam tape, but I think I'm going to use thick 3D foam tape, and I am out of thick as well. Here we go. Okay, grab this guy. And we'll do thick 3D foam tape for the starfish. Depending on how long it takes me to do this, I might actually also be able to show you the layout that I was originally planning to do today. So I had a layout design in mind, and then as the week progressed, I I really like, I really wanted to use this stamp set. Like these two stamp sets on the beach and at the lake are kind of my two favorite stamp sets in this catalog. And I think it's just because I love the water and I love the beach and we have a friend who has a lake house and we've spent a lot of time there, and it's just, you know, my favorite memories and my favorite times are kind of at those places. I've always kind of been a water kid. And so for me, even if it's not that I'm doing anything on the water, just being by the water is, you know, something that's really kind of near and dear to my heart. So these two, I needed to buy them just because of that, because of my, you know, my affiliation, I guess. Okay, I'm taking some thin 3D foam tape for this one. So I did thick 3D foam tape for the starfish, and then I'm going to do some thin 3D foam tape for this little shell here that I'm going to stick underneath right there. And then I think this one we're just going to lay down flat. Right there. This one I think we'll do flat as well. Again, trying to get it kind of underneath, create sort of this layered effect. And then I think we'll do do thick, and then another layer. I think I made that one too long. Do this one and double up on it. So double thick. Do I want double thick or do I want thick thin? No, I think double thick. Okay. So, oops. So by doing double thick, I get it up and above this particular piece, but still popped up. All right, so I'm happy with that on this corner. And then I'm going to move over to this right corner, and because I'm going to stick this guy underneath, I'm going to just put adhesive on it, and we're going to slide it underneath like the shell is coming up out of the sand. I think we're going to put her down now as well, because she's kind of in her spot. And we will get her anchored here, and we will hopefully get her in a spot where she's straight. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, I'm not popping up the bag, so the bag is just going to slide in underneath. So we're just going to put on our adhesive. Oops. Just trying not to get her hand to stick down because I want it to look like she's holding it. There we go. And then we can play around with these shells. All right, so I'm going to start with some thin 3D foam tape. Oops, might need just another little piece there. Kind of did cut that a little short. Okay, and then maybe do that. Maybe stick that sand dollar behind there. Okay, So, you know, I'm not exactly following what I laid out the original time, but that's okay. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, take care of that. Pop up. All right, and then I think I like the sand dollar better. And I think we'll do thin 3D foam tape on that guy as well. All right. Okay, so I've got a cluster there. So my last thing is trying to figure out what I'm going to do for that journaling block. And I do want to have something that's journaling here. And I'm just trying to figure out what is going to be the best. Sorry, my brain is overworking at the moment because I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here. So I'm going to just grab a piece of paper and I'm going to get stuff stuck on my hand here. I'm just going to see if I have any other die cuts or anything that I might be able to use as a journaling block. This has a flower on it that I'm not too thrilled that I think I would want to use. Yeah, I don't want the flower. Actually, not totally hating this paper. This is again a paper from the Mix-In collections. I'm not totally hating it, honestly. And I do have one other option from the die cuts here that I could potentially use. So we're going to pull those out. These are just what are called journaling strips that I'm pulling out from the die cut sheet as another option here. So I can take these like this and say that this would be my journaling here. I don't know, I feel like those just kind of don't belong. I don't like them. I actually prefer this, I think. It's just a lot of different patterns. That was my only concern, having all these different patterns. But such decisions. Just double checking one other thing. that I can just create a journaling block with White Daisy. Let's see if I've got a piece that's a little bit more correctly sized to see. Sorry everyone, I thought I was doing well today and was getting myself very organized, but obviously I missed a whole big piece of what is important about scrapbooking, which is the journaling. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to go with right there. And what I will probably do here is I am actually going to take the toffee ink, and you may have seen me do this before, but I'm going to these edges, and this particular one actually is already kind of roughed up a little bit. I am actually going to just put this in my toffee ink, and what I'm doing is I'm just creating some color to the edges, and you can drag it, or you can tap it like I'm tapping. Just depends on how much you want to do. You could go like this as well to get more toffee on it, on the edges, but I just want a light coloring of it. And actually, I don't like that. Okay, so we're going to scrap that idea, and we are going to cut another piece. Once I inked it, I didn't like it. I have pink here. Do I want pink? No, I don't want pink on pink. That won't work. Okay, so we're going to trim this other piece that we have up. It's 4 inches. I should have remembered that because I told you it was 4 inches for that width of that paper. So we're going to trim this guy up. And again, my edges are kind of distressed, look a little bit rough. I'm going to go ahead and rough up this other side that isn't roughed up, and I'm just using my scissors to do that, but all the other sides have already kind of been roughed up to give it, and that gives it a bit more rugged or maybe beach-like feel. So again, I think we're going to do that, and we're going to just leave this underneath that. Okay, so I think I told you last week that if you're not going to journal right away, or you don't have your journaling done, don't pop it up. Okay, if you pop it up, you will you'll make it very hard for you. It'll be very hard for you to journal. So I am actually putting that 1/2 inch down from the top here, and then I am going to go ahead and lay my title down with my pieces here, like that. And then I do have a couple of extra little guys here that I can use as well if I want to. I'm not sure I like that. I think I might leave it just as it is right now. Okay, so I'm going to put this journaling block down. I'm actually going to leave it not popped up because I already have part of it popped up. So I'm going to just adhere this adhesive on this. Put this down here. The starfish is going to go behind, so I'm not going to pop it up. So I'm going to put the starfish back behind here. I'm going to pop up this piece on thin 3D foam tape. How are we doing? We're almost at an hour. I'll just give you a sneak peek. See, if I had it all laid out for the journaling, I might have had a chance to walk you through the other layout that I'm going to do. It's hard to believe it's already the 15th of the month. It's crazy that this month is halfway gone. All right, so let's get this guy down. So we'll lay it like so. And then this one, we're just going to pop behind here like that. Okay, we're all good there. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take, they have these little stamps, these little shell stamps here. And there's actually two of them. They gave you two of the exact same thing. And I'm going to get my little one by one block. And I'm going to go into my toffee again. And I'm going to actually stamp directly on the layout. So I'm going to just ink this up. And I'm going to come in and stamp in a couple of little places here on this sand. And again, this is just going to allow me to add one more dimension to the layout. I want to be careful here. I don't want to get it on the pink. There we go. Good. Again, I might put a couple here. Just to make it feel like it's actually at the beach. There's some scattered. I don't want to do too many, but I do want to make it feel balanced. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. Sometimes you can go overboard. Sometimes that's what I tend to do that. All right. So that is this layout, and hopefully I will get the picture from Lorelei so that I can slide on that picture. I can put some information on my journaling block here, and I've shown you another way that you can create a layout using a paper pack and a totally different stamp set, a stamp set that was not part of this, you know, sort of package of Isabella. And so hopefully that was a little bit of fun. So I'm going to set this one aside, and I am going to bring out just a couple of pieces of paper, because this is a teaser for the next layout that I'm going to do next week, since we have 2 more weeks before the end of the month. As I said, again, the core catalog retires at the end of the month, and the 2-month catalog retires at the end of the month. So a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you is going to go away, right? These things are going to get replaced, and new catalogs are going to come out, both the twice a month catalog and then the annual catalog. So just be prepared. I teased you that there's some colors leaving today, and there'll be new colors coming in. All right, so you will see that I have this Isabella paper again. These are the different papers, some of the papers for Isabella. And this layout is using 3x3 sizes. So the paper's 3x3. This bluebell, this is the bluebell color, is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And we are going to play around with diamonds. And we are going to create a layout using these 3x3s and creating a diamond pattern that we can use as a base for our layout. So a little bit different than taking a solid and creating a base from it. We are going to, and I'm just sort of playing around trying to see what's going to work here. We are going to take these diamond shapes and we're going to create this layout so that we can use this as our base for our pictures. And taking these beautiful pattern papers, and again, this is going to cross a 2-page layout span. So as an example here, you're going to see, if I could get this all lined up. So these diamonds are going to be our center points and are going to be our focal points for this layout. And I think it just does, these are just beautiful, for this particular, looks like I'm gonna have to play around. I think I'm gonna need another one here. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of show this to you so that you could see the idea behind it, and you could get kind of excited. Obviously, that does not work because that's too many of the same pattern. So I'm gonna have to play around a little bit with layout. But anyway, this is kind of the idea that I have, and we are going to have some fun with this particular one next time. And obviously I gotta play around with it. I just have the pieces cut out, but we'll lay it out and we'll get it all kind of situated appropriately. So anyway, a little teaser for next week that I've got kind of laid out. I've got to find some pictures to go with it and finish the cutting and everything. But there you go, everyone. So just a quick recap. I was using not the stamp of the month. I was using our On the Beach thin cuts. I was using Isabella. I used Toffee and Canary and Intense Black and Mink as my 4 colors. I used our tri-blend markers, the Fair Skin, Gold Brown, True Blue, Ice Blue, and I used our Toffee Shimmer Brush as well. Thin and 3D foam tape, and we ended up with actually a layout that I am quite pleased with. Mix-in papers as well. So again, and our Toffee, or our Ocean mixed media sprays. So hopefully everyone kind of had fun with this, and it gave you some inspiration. But I think it turned out really cute, and I really love this layout. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Hopefully everyone has a great week. I get to go to jury duty on Monday, so we will see. Maybe called in to be a juror on a case. So going to be an interesting week for me. Anyway, everyone, have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and I will see you next Sunday. Thanks. Bye.